So we are about to enter into a massive crisis where more and more people will be homeless. People will go without food, without shelter, without heat, and they are coming for you. Now, I'm going to break down what we are seeing at this time, but millions of people are worried about what is coming because what we have been providing for the past 3.5 years. So I'll break all this down in just a moment, explain what is going on and how you could be impacted very soon. So all I ask is one thing, takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So things are about to turn into a mess. And why is that? Well, here's what we know. We now know that President-elect Donald Trump will be the next president as of January 20th, 2025. But he's not waiting until January 20th to start doing things. He's doing things now. Here's where things are getting interesting. Look at this. There's a program in New York. It says New York City ending voucher program that allowed migrant families to buy their own food. Yes, migrant families were given pretty much preloaded debit cards that they could use to buy food. They'd come into New York and they were handed a debit card, and here you go, you can use this. What's interesting about this is this was for migrant families. This isn't for homeless. This isn't for our veterans. Okay, this isn't for people that are down on their luck. No, this is for migrant families that were bussed into New York City. They were getting pretty much free money, free food. Now, this is ending. Okay, this will be no more. Look at this. It says New York City has announced it will no longer issue vouchers to migrants to pay for food, ending a controversial program that had repeatedly come under attack by conservatives and others. Goes on to say, as we move towards a more competitive contracting for asylum seeker programs, we have chosen not to renew the emergency contract for this pilot program once the 1-year term concludes. The pilot program distributed debit cards to migrant families staying in city-funded hotels, allowing them to buy their own food. Again, right here, migrant families staying in city-funded hotels. That's ending too. Look at this one. It says, Albany hotels housing migrants will close ahead of schedule. Hundreds look for next steps. They're staying in the Holiday Inn. It's a Holiday Inn Express. These migrant families are now being kicked out of. And that's in Albany. Look at this one. It says city's largest migrant shelter closing next week. It says Inn of Chicago, which has housed more than 1,500 migrants since opening as a downtown shelter in 2022, is slated to close November 15th. That is in 1 week. Now, I'm bringing this to your attention for one reason. We knew all these different programs, okay? And this isn't just in New York. This isn't just in Chicago, okay? This is in Colorado. This is in Denver, okay? This is in California, and many cities in California, okay? We're seeing it a little bit in Oregon and Washington, and there's other states around as well, that there are more migrants coming in. But guess what? The money, the funding, okay, the aid, it's not going to be there. This was already something that many people were very skeptical of before. That how are we funding all these different programs? Well, it's simple. If you get money from the federal government, if the state gets the money, then they go and distribute it where they see fit. And if there's no real rules or regulation behind it, they can do whatever they want. Well, here's the thing. States now know that President-elect Donald Trump is not going to go for this. He's not going to continue to give them funding, just pay for the states to do whatever they want with it. No, he's going to have some oversight. And with that, he's going to stop sending certain states money. Now, this is why the states are now going to close down some of these programs. Here's why it becomes an issue. All these migrants that came in, that created lives in Los Angeles and San Diego, okay, in Denver, in New York, in Chicago. What happens to them? What happens? Do they move? Do they continue to, have their life and build a life and keep their family in that city? Potentially. But experts believe that as more migrants and more, people that are technically homeless are kicked out of these shelters, they're going to go and look for places to live. They could potentially put a little tent in your yard. Okay? They can put it under an overpass. Put it next to a Home Depot or a Walmart. Right? What we're about to see, based off of what experts are anticipating, is people are going to start to, we'll see thefts increase. Violence will increase. Okay? We're going to see people breaking into homes. Potentially squatters. Squatting will increase as well. All because now these shelters, like this one, that had more than 1,500 migrants since opening. I don't know how many are in there right now, but just think about it. If that's going to close, what happens? Okay? Now I want to read a little bit of this to you. It says, all current shelter residents at the Inn of Chicago have been offered shelter placement at another new arrival shelter and will continue to receive the same services. The city is coordinating with Chicago Public Schools, Chicago Department of Public Health, state and county partners, and wraparound service partners to minimize disruptions to impacted families and ensure continuity of care. Now, why did I just read you that? Because it said they're going to continue to receive the same services. The city is coordinating with Chicago Public Schools. So are we going to see gyms close down so that they can put cots all over the gym floor? Potentially. We've seen it before. Are we going to see community programs like after school care? Are these going to end because they have to put cots again on the floor? Are we going to see this? Are we going to see the YMCA jump in here? Maybe. And this is why many people are concerned, because the programs that we were funding before are about to end. And what happens to all those people? To those hundreds of thousands of people that have come into the United States over the past 3.5 years? What happens to them? If you have no funding, you have no food. The other one, some cities are giving cell phones. They're giving cell phones so that the people, the immigration lawyers, or when you have an appointment, you can actually get a phone call. But guess what? Some of these phone calls don't come for 6 to 12 months. So the states and the cities are having to provide the cell phone coverage, right? Pay the bill for 6 to 12 months. That could end. And so all these people that are waiting for an appointment, and that's the only form of communication that they have, it might be over. So now they're just going to be off in the street, doing whatever. So that's the reason why I bring this to your attention. This could end badly very soon. So we're going to see what happens moving forward, but that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.